Guys, deluded, you choosing Golo Kante, I'm back again. Now, obviously, you've seen my review in regards to us playing Cardiff, but I know I'm late to the party. But on Friday or Thursday or whenever it happened, our group stage opponents in regards to the Europa League were announced. So, yeah, I'm doing you guys a disjustice and I apologise for not talking about it. Yeah, YouTube's Lucas Torreira and all of them things there, I have to say it in every vid. But back to this. Now, if I'm before we get into it, if I'm looking at this moment in time in September, if I'm looking at it now, or as we approach September, better yet, you like to think Europa League is our best opportunity of bringing Champions League that's been missing for the last 2 seasons, purely because I still maintain that the best way to get in the Champions League is by the league places, regardless of Arsenal's form or just away from looking at Arsenal. Wouldn't it make more sense if you have 38 games, meaning you have more tries of getting that top four, then all right, cool, group stage, play everybody twice, and then you've got semis and quarters and last 16s and last 32s and all of these sort of, and then the final, which is wishful thinking. Obviously, if you've got the ability to win it, you should believe in yourself, but it's a massive risk, especially when you're not calculated. A massive risk versus 38 games, not losing games you're not supposed to lose, getting a run of form, and getting the basics right. But I also believe that no matter how good we do or how poorly we do, I think top four it can't happen now for us because we just look so off it. For many, not to critique our club, we're actually here because of numerous bad choices, whether it was by Wenger, by Kroenke, in regards to management, in regards to contracts, even to players coming in. False sense of security. We are our club and our club's position and our team's position and current state of ability is here because of a cocktail of bad decisions. So it's not an accident why we're here, but because we're here, you look at. It's weird because on one hand, I do believe the top six moving away from Arsenal. People gas up the thing. Like if you're confident, if you're consistent, if you win games, everyone in that top six has a chance of getting top four. I say that season in, season out since I've started this YouTube thing. But if I look at not even ability, I see, and I do think we were playing for Unai Emery, but you look at Spurs, yeah, they lost to Watford and it doesn't hold weight, but they're galvanised more often than not. Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, Liverpool, last 18 months or 2-3 years were more or less the same little things in the regards that they were the clubs really fighting for a spot. They weren't really at it with the likes of the spending that other clubs can do, but Liverpool have left it now. Liverpool, you see what they're doing. So Liverpool, they look more inspired and they look like they're getting Champions League unless a mad thing happens. Chelsea, I think people aren't talking about Chelsea enough. Yeah, there's a shaky defensively, but they're playing some good stuff and they look up for it. And so far they're dealing with business. So they've got to be in it. Man United could easily be fighting for fourth or fifth or sixth like us, but they got second last year, so you have to respect. You have to respect that. So you can see why you can. City's a different. I don't even need to talk about City. They're a different engine in it. So I'm looking at these sides, and I'm looking at specific to City because they're the league champions and they're the benchmark. We'll never get near them, but if you need to look at what First are doing, the way they're playing, their tactics, not even all away from Pep Guardiola, the approach their players are having, whether it's disrupting oppositions, breaking up play, whether it's switching things, doing things in less touches, just being better. I'm seeing galvanization. I'm seeing our team in too much worse of a state to believe we can get top six people, top four people. Like it looks a madness. So you're thinking Europa League, you got to take that is seriously, to be honest with you, and do what we need to do. And we've got a manager who's won it 3 times. Hopefully it's a fourth time at Arsenal. I honestly would love a Europa League and a FA Cup double. That's all I could see happening in regards to us having a good season, if we could have a good season. But yeah, man, our opponents. First, let's talk about Kat Yarabag. Obviously, we've seen them before. Who have they played before? They lost 5 and 6-0 respectively in the Champions League to Chelsea. I'm so sure Spurs have played in Europa League and played against these lot before as well because I've seen that name before for sure. Even when I used to work at Spurs, I'm so sure I watched that game. So yeah, I've seen them before. They're in Azerbaijan. I do believe Mkhitaryan wouldn't be able to travel. If he could, it wouldn't be advisable for his health. I'm not too sure if people that are from Azerbaijan, people that are from Armenia are allowed into the nation. I don't know about the politics. I don't want to talk about it for fear of being wrong. But either way, there seems to be some sort of political unrest, and I do believe Mkhitaryan was told by Dortmund when they had to travel to the same region for a game not to travel. So that probably will happen with Mkhitaryan over them 2 games. Kat Yarabag, we're expected to win that. No disrespect to them. Obviously, Obviously, we've got Thingy as well. We've got, I need to get this name correctly. We've got FC Voloska Polotava. I can't say that name, people, but they're a Ukrainian side. I believe they finished third in their league. They're filled with domestic Ukrainian-based players, but they've got a couple Brazilians like what's his name? I even got his name, but I started watching him on YouTube and seeing what he's on, and he looks like, if you're an Arsenal fan, the typical ones that look to be going to cause us stress in the game. So they've got some talent. We can't underestimate sides just because we haven't heard of them. They play in a 25k stadium. Not too sure of the state of the pitch, but that might be one where we have to just try and batter them, or we have to grind a result. Obviously, with that being said, the big one is Sporting Lisbon. No disrespect to the other two sides, but Sporting Lisbon, we know they've lost a few players, Gelson Martins, etc., due to the contract business and players getting beaten up. But Sporting away is going to be difficult. Portugal are mad footballing fans. Sporting Lisbon is a heavily followed club. They're going to be fireworks. There's going to be buzzingness, great chance, and it's showing you what football's about. Portuguese people love football, and specific to Sporting fans, they're diehards. They're going to do that at the Emirates. So if you can imagine away from home, and that game more or less ain't going to be about ability, in my opinion. It's about how you can weather the storm of away crowds, how you can settle them down, how you can just go and get a result. Because you like, no disrespect to the other sides, but you like to think the results in them two games, 180 minutes of football between Arsenal and Sporting, decides who wins that group, to be honest with you. And we want to win that group, I'm sure. Obviously, they've got Carlos Mane, who's a decent, youngish sort of winger. I believe that he can be decent. They've got that forgotten wonder kid, Luke Costanos, who was compared to Henry, Dutch international. I remember him at the Under-21s Championship a few years ago. And they've obviously got Nani, who he's a former United player. That's enough reason to want to ruin Arsenal enough. And if we remember Nani, we need to get him back, because you remember when he put it on his head and then someone clamped him. Nani's used to violating us, so there's a lot of players with a point to prove. And they've also got Bruno Fernandes, who my Portuguese supporting friend, well, he's from Portugal, and so obviously would support Portugal. He's a big fan of his. He's a 23-year-old midfielder. He looks decent, but I probably need to see a bit more from him before I make a vid on him or go wow. But yeah, I've got it written down. One big key test as well would probably be from the 25th of October to around the 8th of November, because there's a period we've got Sporting away, we've got Palace away, Sporting away, and then we've got Liverpool. And obviously Palace, it doesn't sound like the biggest of games, but for me, apart from the fixture last year, I haven't really been confident with playing Palace, and it's always been a backs against the wall performance to run away with the points, because them fans there go crazy and their teams feed off that. I don't need to tell you why Liverpool's a big game. Sporting away, we've just spoken about it, innit, people? So there's not much more for me to add on that front. That's my opinions in regards to the group stage. It could have been better, it could have been worse, but it is what it is at this moment in time. So yeah, Kayarabag are only here because I believe they lost to Bate Borisov in the Champions League playoffs, and then obviously Bate lost to PSV, such as the circle of life. But it is what it is, man. We should be getting through this group convincingly. I don't want to say that's a given, because what should and what actually happens in football are two different things. But yeah, man, they're my two thoughts. Well, my two pennies in regards to my thoughts in regards to the group stage. Hope I've given you guys some content. Guys, deluded, get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest. I'm out.